So, now I want to talk about, right now I want to talk about some things to look out for on your spiritual journey, and things that I kind of like encountered and things that I learned from on my journey, and I want to share them with anyone that's wants to listen. Um, One of the things that I encounter on my journey, and one of the lessons that I learned is that being a spiritual person, you don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to um, like the image is not just like one thing. It's many things. There may be some similarities, but at the end of the day, it's you. You have to give it your own expression. You have to give it your own energy, and that's one of the things that I kind of did early on was I saw that certain things um, or certain images were what I believed to be what a spiritual person would look like, and not just like a physical thing, but like even like non-physical things too. But to talk about the physical, one of the things that I did early on in my spiritual journey was I grew my hair out, and I refused to cut it for years and years and years and years. And it wasn't until this year actually that my hair ended up coming out because, for one, I wasn't taking care of it. But another reason why it came out was because I was detoxing. And throughout my detox, my hair, I guess, like it was like really connected to something that I really needed to let go. And it just like started like coming out. Like at first I didn't really pay too much attention to it because it was just like, maybe like a few like pieces here and there. And then it just became like more and more like over like the days and the few weeks that it happened, and then like there were like patches in my head where I couldn't like hide it anymore. So I ended up having to cut it off. But in the process of cutting it off, I didn't have too much emotion about it, because at that point I understood that it was something that I was like extremely attached to, that I really needed to let go in order to grow. And for me, that made a huge difference on my spiritual journey, because I believe that a lot of the negative energy that I was holding on to in my hair. And doing my detox helped me release that. And it helped me not be so much emotional about it, and it helped me to understand that it was just something that needed to be released. And I had to detach from it, and I literally had to let it go, because if I didn't, if I would have kept it on, it probably would have been like still like some type of negative energy on me that I couldn't let go of, like spiritually, because of like holding on to something that was clearly not healthy, clearly not that didn't serve me in any way, shape, or form. Of course, like early on in my in the beginning of my journey, as far as like my hair, it was serving me because I had structure to it. Like they were freeform locks before, and then something happened to where I ended up cutting off my freeform locks, but I still kept like part of my hair. Like it was still like a certain length, and with it being a certain length, like it still had like some of that old energy on it. And even with becoming it still had the old energy on it. But with the old energy still on it, I guess it was like things like from years and years and years ago that I was still holding on to, that was kind of like still with me, because of the hair still being on me. Like, and it was still like I guess like thoughts and stuff like that was like trapped in my antennas, because anybody that has freeform locks or dreadlocks or anything like that. They call their hair antennas, and there's nothing wrong with that because even now my hair is antennas, but that's just a common thing with people who have like dreads and freeform locks. I don't know if people call it that like on the regular, but I'm just familiar with that because I've had freeform locks. But yeah, like it was still, I believe it was still connected to that. And with me cutting it off, a huge weight was kind of like uplifted. I mean, lifted off of my head, and like I think I want to say immediately, like people like noticed a difference, but that's just me, like probably imposing my opinion of what people thought. But I will say a few people were like they made some comments, and I felt welcomed after I did cut off my hair. But um, another mistake that I made that I don't want to say it was a mistake because again we got to change the mindset. It's not about mistakes because on your journey you're gonna run into some like roadblocks and some obstacles and things like that. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that everything is a lesson. And the lesson that I'm talking about in particular is I listened to a bunch of different I guess teachers or people who were on their own journey, and instead of me not listening to so many people, and for one, this is probably this is gonna be probably longer than the other one, but like listening to so many different people and going in so many different directions, I was kind of like torn and doing like bits and pieces of everything that I saw everybody else doing. Even though certain things that they were doing was similar to what I was doing prior to me meeting them, there were some things that I picked up from them that wasn't necessarily me, and I believe those things held like energy locks. Like they linked me to their energy in a way that kind of not it didn't allow me to be myself because I didn't have my full expression. Um I didn't have my freedom to be me because I was kind of like restraining myself by being under their um, teaching, if that makes sense. But it's like like following like many different paths and going many different ways when it's like this. Like if you're going like on a specific way, and then there's like this road, this road, this road, this road, and you try to choose your own path, but at each road there's someone saying you should go this way, this is the best way. You should go this way, this is the best way. And you know what I'm saying? Like this way is the best way. But at the end of the day, you have to have like your own inner discernment. You have to have your own inner guidance and trust it to decide which way is the best way for you to go. And for me early on, I didn't understand that. And in not understanding that, I ended up going like down this road and then, kind of like backtracking sometimes in a way and then going down this road because this person either called me back to this road and I ended up going this way and it didn't help me in the long run. So what I would say as advice to someone who's on their own spiritual journey is to trust yourself, trust your inner guidance, like find yourself. You have your own path, and your own path is what matters. Like you can't depend on other people to decide which way it is for you to go, because if you do, you end up lost because they can lead you anywhere. Like, and it's nothing saying that they know the way for you. They know the way for themselves. Like even with me, like I can teach and talk about a lot of things, but I will never tell somebody to follow me and to listen to my every word without question and to not trust their own self. Like at the end of the day, the first person you should trust is you, because you are your own leader. Like You are the person that you're looking for, and that's the best way I can put it. You're the person that you're looking for. You're the person that you need to trust the most, because you are with you 24/7, light and dark, when nobody's looking. Like, you are with you all the time. Nobody is with you all the time but you. So you need to trust you more than you trust anybody else, even your mother and your father. And I'm not saying there's anything against your mother and father, but the reason why I'm saying that is because they know, I mean, you know what's going on inside of you. Like, your parents or someone may be able to read your energy, but you know what's going on inside you, and you know what it is you need to get you to where you want to go. And you are the person that knows where you want to go. Like, you know it intuitively. Like, you know it so in depth, so it's so entwined in your spirit. It's so in it. I can't think of I can't think of the word I want to say, but it's so I can't think of it, but it's really you who decides and can decide where it is you want to go in life, on your journey. Like, and one of the reasons why I was following people, because I couldn't find anybody who would speak for me. And the irony of that is, I never spoke for myself in the early days. And I would just listen to a bunch of people. And in listening to a bunch of people, it led me so many ways that I really wasn't supposed to go in. I wasn't supposed to go, and in going, it kind of it messed me up more than it helped me. So my advice to you would be to just trust yourself first, and then trust everybody else. And I'm not saying to not trust anybody. I'm saying to make sure you trust yourself first. Make sure you love yourself first, and then in loving yourself, you have to trust yourself. And in trusting yourself, you have to show that you love yourself. Um, and even with that, like, when I say that it doesn't have to look a certain way, you don't have to get crystals to be spiritual. You don't have to do a lot of things to be spiritual. I mean, you are what determines your path. Um, the only things that I can say that I've learned that I feel like is kind of like a universal thing: what you eat matters, what you say matters. Um, who you listen to matters. Um, and things like meditation is important, because that's like you building a connection with yourself. Like, all these things matter, but on your spiritual journey, you should be more focused on you than anybody else. And it's not a selfish thing for you to focus on yourself, because trusting your inner guidance, you have to be able to know what it is that you feel, and what it is that you have inside of you. And in having it inside of you, knowing that you have this inside of you, you have to bring it out into the world. And in bringing it out into the world, you are the greatest representation of it. Like, and you have to be the greatest representation of it. And in not being that representation of it, it causes all kinds of spiritual mess and spiritual mayhem on you, because you don't trust yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, then you end up like bringing in a lot of darkness, and all the darkness that you bring in is from like things that other people said, and things that other people feel you should be doing, or you should be doing, feel that you should be doing on some level, because of something that you did in the past that you didn't either speak up for, or you didn't agree, you didn't say that you didn't agree with, and that hurts you in the long run. So trust yourself first. Like that's more important than people realize. And having an open mind, like even though I can say that I've always had an open mind, like just naturally, and I've always been the type of person who loves to explore and loves to learn new things. But that's one thing that I can say about a spiritual journey. You need to have an open mind and don't be so focused on the person, focus on the concept. And when I say focus on the concept, sometimes like take for example, because I'm looking at this crystal, take for example this. I like crystals because I know what they can do. I don't collect crystals because of somebody else collecting them or anything like that. I started doing that because, for one, I thought they were like beautiful. I love the way they look. A lot of them, and I noticed that they actually do what they are said to do. Like the descriptions that they give, like the characteristics, like things that they say that they can affect, they actually work. Like it's no joke. But I forget where I started when I said that. But the concept is important. So don't be so focused on doing it because somebody else did it. Do it because it's a concept that you agree with or a concept that you want to explore. Be willing to explore because again, it's a journey. So, excuse me. Again, it's a journey. So since it's a journey, you have to be willing to go a path that you haven't gone before, but making sure that it's a path that you agree with. And even in okay, this is another good point. In the early parts of my spiritual journey, one thing that I did that nobody ever really had to tell me to do was two major things. Well, three major things, but I'm only going to mention two because I already mentioned one of them. But meditation and sun gazing. Meditation, nobody had to tell me to do, and the reason why nobody had to tell me to do meditation because it's just something that I knew like off bat, like it was something like inside of me that already knew that meditation was important. And the only thing that is kind of different now that I don't do as far as meditation is, I don't do it like all day, every day. Like I used to spend hours and hours just meditating because at this point I was like fresh out of college and I had nothing else to do really but to like meditate. And I don't know if I was working around that time, but I think it's around the time I start working. It may have been like the spring after I start working, and I would meditate like all the time. And I didn't do it because any spiritual leader told me to. I didn't do it because of anybody like basically telling me to do it. It's just something that I naturally knew. So since it was something that I naturally knew, it's something that I still do to this day, and it's something that I agree with to this very day. And it's something that I would recommend because you get to explore your inner world. And I'm gonna make a video about that. But in exploring your inner world, you will learn way more than you would by looking outside, looking for anybody else. Because yeah, like it's way more than just like closing your eyes and breathing. Like meditation is deep, and even breath work like is deep. Like, but you have to really get into it. It's some stuff that you can uncover within inside of yourself that you would have never even imagined to be to be what it is. Because yes, it's some magical stuff, and I recommend it to anybody. And then the other thing was like sun gazing. Sun gazing, for some reason, I never, as a child, I sun gazed because I think it was because I was kind of hard headed when I was a child. When people told me not to look at the sun, for some reason, it's just like the natural curiosity inside of me told me to do it anyway. And and I'm gonna tell you something else about that. But the natural curiosity in me wanted to do it anyway because for some reason it felt wrong not to look at the sun when somebody told me not to. And what I saw when I was a child looking at the sun was beautiful colors. I saw the sun do all kinds of things. The sun is way more than people know, way more than people give credit for. It's not something that just sits in the sky. It's way more than that. And I've spent like years peeling off the layers to get back to the level that I was at when I was a child, like looking at the sun and just being like in tune with it. But it's like some stuff about that even to this day that I'm still trying to comprehend and like get back to a level of understanding. Um, and what I was gonna say about not listening and wanting to do it anyway. Something I've learned on my spiritual journey is that being obedient and obeying law is actually way more important than we realize. Um, in obeying the law, you teach yourself how to not only treat other people, but to treat yourself. Like if you obey law, if you obey the law and you do everything right, um, it helps you in the long run because it's for one, it's easy to remember. Like because if it's law, you know it, and it's not something that you would do without having to question or think about it. If you do something that's against the law, you know you've done something against the law because your mind will tell you that you've done something against the law. So and even with that, like if you know you've done something against the law or against something that's not good, you you have something inside of you that tells you or makes you feel a certain way. And in making you feel a certain way, it can make you feel like depressed. It can make you experience anxiety and all these things. And we wonder why we feel these things is because we're not doing something that agrees with us as a whole. Because it's not about I want to say the face of you. And when I say the face of you, I mean like the face that we put on in front of people, like the person that we have to be in front of people. It's not just about that. It's the person that you are when nobody's around. And even when you're not like on social media, because we can put on the face then, like we're not the same person on social media a lot of the times when we're on social media because we have to put on the face then. But 10 um we have to put on the face, and in putting on the face it you're not being 100% yourself. And when you're being 100% yourself, you're happier, you are more successful, you like your energy flows better, like, and everything works better when you're being 100% yourself. And it's just something that I've learned like over time. And you don't want to ever do anything against yourself because doing things against yourself can be detrimental to your mental health, your spiritual health. And we look at it like in this world, like we look at it like just like a physical thing. Like we'll do things like little things like to hurt ourselves, like alcoholism, and we'll allow people to like abuse us in different ways, like verbally and physically and stuff like that. But we only look at it like on like an external point of view, and we don't look at the like spiritual and mental aspects of it. Like mental health is probably the one of the least understood subjects, period, like, because mental health accounts for a lot of the things that's wrong with a lot of people in this world. And I'm not saying that like I'm better than anybody, because I'm not, but it accounts for a lot of the things that's going on in this world, because we're dealing with a lot of mental issues that we need to work on a spiritual level that we haven't. And it hurts us, it holds us back, because there's things that are not understood by not just us, but the internal us, which I'm gonna go into on another video as well. But you have to really build that relationship. And in building that relationship, you have to make sure you trust yourself. You have to make sure you show yourself self-care, show yourself self-love, and do what you, when you say you're gonna do something, make sure you do it. Like, even take for example, me making this video. Like, today was like kind of like the whole idea of me doing this was kind of dragging on, because for one, I knew in my mind that I wanted to do it, or rather, I knew that I wanted to do it, and in my mind, it was kind of like holding me down, because for one, over the past few days of me, like, just like, because I set my goals like every night, but I'll like hold on, I'll wait to the last minute to do stuff, and in me waiting to the last minute, it kind of like was working against me today, because I I noticed that every time I wanted to record a video, it was kind of like a like negative energy coming with it, and it wasn't necessarily something that I was playing into, but I kind of like observed it, and I knew what it was, and I knew that I had to like put in some action and to kind of stop like procrastinating, because procrastinating is not something that a habit that I want to take with me into the future. So procrastination is something that I'm working on to this very day to get rid of. I mean, not saying that it's a big problem, but to see it creeping in indicates that there's a possibility of a problem, and I don't want that problem. So I'm going to work on not procrastinating and building that relationship up with myself to follow through with what I want to do. And if it's something that I really want to do, I'm going to do it when I initially think of it, or before it's like something that's thrown together, something that's last minute, because that's not a good thing. So what the main message of this video is to have that relationship with yourself, to trust yourself, and it's really about you. Like, it's all about you. Like the whole the whole thing. Like, life is about you, but you have to understand that it's about you. And the more you get back to yourself, the more you realize that it's about you, and it's all you. Everything that you see is all you. Like, it's no separation of whether this is you or that is you. It's you. It may be like different degrees of you, but it's you. Like, it manifested in your mind or in the spiritual realm. I wouldn't say the spiritual realm before it manifested, even in your mind. Like, but before it manifested in the physical world, it manifested in the spiritual realm. And when it manifested in the spiritual realm, you had a chance to do something about it. But now that it's become like a mental thing, it's something that can be held on to. And when it becomes physical, it's something that's dragging you down and slowing you down. So what you have to do is you have to make sure you are able to move that energy, work that energy out, and make sure that it's out of your mental and then out of your spiritual. Even though you can do something, you can like exercise and get it out of you, but I feel like that's an indirect way, because it's like a physical thing, and I feel like that's it takes longer to do it on a physical level than it does on a spiritual level. Like, spiritually, you can handle stuff quicker, because spirit moves faster than the physical. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with the physical. I'm just saying that it's faster to do it on a spiritual level than it is on the physical level. But make sure that you are approaching your spiritual journey in a holistic way. And as far as healing, but even your approach to your spiritual journey, like you have to make sure that it's more than just one thing, because at the end of the day, you are like a dynamic person. You are a like a round character. You're not just a flat character. Like flat characters are just one dimensional. You're more than one dimensional. So since you're more than one dimensional, you have to treat yourself in a more than one dimensional way. And being more than one dimensional, you have to make sure that this is something that you appeal to, and this is something that you appeal to. But don't do it because of, this person is doing it. Do it because it's something that is drawing you to it, that you need to understand. And once you get an understanding of it, once you grasp the concept for what it is, and it expresses itself, and then you get your lesson from it, then you either move on from it or you incorporate it into your life. But don't do it for any other reason than that. Like, you have to make sure that you approach it from a multi-dimensional way, and like I said, just holistic, and be around character. But don't judge so harshly anyone, and don't judge yourself so harshly, because I think what we do is we will judge ourselves more harshly than we judge other people, but we don't notice how we judge ourselves. So make sure that you don't judge yourself as hard as you've been doing it in the past, like prior to you being on this journey, because that can hurt you a lot too, because that hurts you in a mental way, because at that point you feel like you're inadequate when you're not. You are more than adequate. You are spectacular. You are magnificent. You are not inadequate. You are much more. You're marvelous. You have to make sure that you are saying these things to yourself and believing these things, and practice gratitude as well. Practicing gratitude is very important. It'll change the way you look at the world, period. Like it'll make you appreciate everything that you encounter in the world. So make sure you're practicing gratitude as well. But I think that's pretty much it. As you can see, like all of it stems from like just having a relationship with yourself, and making sure that that relationship with yourself is something that is built on love, trust, and care. And once you kind of develop a foundation for that, I don't know, you pretty much can go from there. Like you can pretty much do anything from there, because you've built this foundation, and you can build on it, and wherever you go from there is up to you. So like you have to make sure that you are the one in the driver's seat of your life, but don't play passenger seat to anyone in your life. But yeah, I just really wanted to share that for today, and I think I said everything I need to say. I feel like there's something more, but I think it's just me thinking about other concepts that I need to share, and I'm going to. So, but with that being said, I love you, and I hope that you have a great day.